You know where some terrible games? Dragon Quest XI, same with The Witcher 3, and 007 Everything or Nothing. Not to me or anything, I love all these games, but there's always someone out there that says every game is bad. Hey everyone, how's it going? To a level here, as today I want to talk about 10 bad video games that I really love. So, yeah, I kind of want to talk about this since a few weeks ago I talked about worst JRPGs that I played personally, right? And so, kind of want to talk about more bad video games, but more on the positive side now. Some of these games I don't think are actually bad or anything. Some of these I think are really good, but usually when I talk about these games or I see them on certain lists, right, of like worst games ever or things like that, like they kind of appear there, so I'm like, okay, I'll include some of these, but I do have some truly, pretty bad games for sure, so yeah, let's begin. As let me know in the comments down below what kind of bad video games you enjoy, or just ones that you think are good but other people say are kind of bad, right? So, yeah, let's start, and we'll start with a certain Hedgehog, but not Sonic. Sonic will come up right after this, but we're talking about Shadow the Hedgehog, so really enjoyed this. Now, I don't have a physical of this game right now, but yeah, maybe one day, but yeah, I really enjoyed this, and this was definitely a time when games were becoming very edgy, right? Like you had to have that edgy kind of character, and this is such a weird one because Shadow uses a gun, and depending on what you do in the level, you'll kind of gain towards like a good, bad, or neutral ending, and there's like 20 different endings. I forget how many, but there's a lot, right? And it's so weird because Shadow can shoot like humans, right? You can kill the humans, and it's very weird and all that, but man, I really enjoyed this game. And I think part of it is just how weird it is, how different it is, and also I find with a lot of these 3D Sonic ones, especially for Generation 6 and everything, like they're not that bad. It's just more like you have to know what you kind of have to study how the mechanics want you to play, right? Because obviously with Sonic games it's all about going super fast and everything, but for Shadow I found like if you take your time and kind of slow things down a bit, it's a lot easier to play, right? And so that's probably why I kind of enjoy it. And yeah, it's just fun trying to get all the endings and seeing what each one is. Now, most of them are pretty much the same, they just alter tiny bits here and there, right? Except for kind of the true good, true bad ending, but, or true evil, I guess I would say, but, I just, I don't know, I really enjoyed this game, and yeah, it's one of those weird guilty pleasure games of mine. So we talked about Shadow the Hedgehog, it's time for Sonic the Hedgehog, or Sonic 06 here, so yeah, really enjoyed this game, and I know I'm not the only one, and yeah, enjoy it for a lot of the wrong reasons. It's a glitchy mess, it's a lot easier pointing out the glitches than actual parts where the game functions normally, right? And yeah, it's just, that's what makes it sort of fun, because Sonic especially has so many glitches since he gets like these gems that he can use, and the purple gem is the most broken, since what's normally supposed to happen is when you use a gem, like energy meter is supposed to kind of get lower and lower each time, but for whatever reason they don't do that, so you can just become small and jump forever without ever stopping, so you can go out of bounds, you can break the game entirely. And there's also the sky gem, which you can throw it and teleport way into the sky, and there's so many broken moments in the game, but man, I just that's what makes it fun. But also playing Sonic Generations along with some mods of Generations, right? Like you get to see how these levels were meant to function, right? And it's too bad because I think like this game could have been a really great, almost Sonic Adventure 3, right? But instead, it's just a glitchy mess that had like this big time crunch, and only half the development team worked on it because the other half was working on secret rings and things like that. But yeah, I quite enjoy it. Weird story, but I do like the addition of Silver the Hedgehog, and yeah, it's another just weirdly guilty pleasure of mine. So when I talked about worst JRPGs, I talked about a Sword Art Online game, the first one of Hollow Fragment. I really did not enjoy that one, but there was one that I did like a lot, and that was Fatal Bullet. So really enjoyed this game, and kind of shows that maybe don't make Kirito the main character, right? Because this one you get to create your own character, and you know, it still has a lackluster story, as the story basically is like you're a new player of Gun Gale Online, this MMO shooter, and you come across this AI that is super rare and is kind of meant for high level players, but you're the one who unlocks it, right? So everyone kind of wants that AI of yours, you know. And it definitely still has a lot of dialogue that doesn't necessarily go anywhere, but man, the gameplay is so fun in this. I really enjoy it, and yeah, there's just a lot of like, you could see so much potential with this game, and yeah, it was nice to finally not play as Kirito, because Kirito is one of the most frustrating characters ever, just because, you know, like, he is a complete god in Sword Art Online. Like, he's perfect at everything, every girl falls in love with him, and you know, I talked about the dialogue for like Hollow Fragment was always about like, if he talked to a certain girl, all the other girls would just be like, how dare you, you can't do that, and things like that. So it was nice to get away from that one with Fatal Bullet, right? So yeah, there's just a lot I love about this one, and yeah, Sword Art Online games are hit or miss for me, but this one's definitely a hit. It's my favorite in the whole series. And yeah, I didn't think Sword Art Online Fatal Bullet's necessarily a bad game, but again, for Sword Art Online games, they're hit or miss with a lot of people, right, and things like that. But yeah, so moving on, we have another one that I don't think is that bad, but unfortunately, again, it needed a lot more polish with it, and that's Alpha Protocol. I thought this game was really cool. Now, remember when I first heard about it, it was my brother who told me about it, and sorry, at the time, I wasn't really too sure about it. I looked at it, it's like, okay, it looks kind of glitchy and a little unpolished, right? So didn't really pay attention too much, and got this game years later, and yeah, I had a lot of fun with it. Now, definitely awkward, right? Like, especially when you're crouching, it looks like some duck is moving, right? Like, it's such a weird animation for crouch movement, right? But there's a lot of cool moments with this of, you know, spy RPG, right? Of just kind of creating your kind of style, right? You don't really get to create a character that much, right? But you get to kind of create your style of, okay, are you going to be more of a shooter, or are you going to be more stealthy, or are you going to be more just trying, you know, to convince people, right? And you're building relationships, or you're damaging relationships, because there's pros and cons towards both. Like, if you have someone who's super angry with you, hates you, they might slip up and tell you something that they shouldn't have just out of frustration, right? And it's really cool mechanic, just it needed more time, right? And it's too bad that doesn't seem like we'll ever get another Alpha Protocol, because yeah, there's a lot of cool things with this, just it needed more time, right? And yeah, I really enjoyed this game. Now we definitely get onto a very mixed game here, and that's Bionic Commando. So yeah, this or reboots or sequel, right, is very interesting, and yeah, depending who you are, you either quite enjoy this game or you absolutely hate it. I really enjoyed it. You know, once you get used to kind of the swinging mechanic, it's a lot of fun. I love kind of just the momentum you get. But yes, again, it's another one of these games where they edged up the main character. Is that the right term, or is that more? I'm not sure if saying edged up the character is like a sexual term or not. I don't know, but made the main character edgy, right? Of, dreadlocks and all these muscles and just a complete douche, right? But, regardless of all that, I did have a lot of fun with this game, and, I had fun with the original too, along with the sort of remakes, which I know the remakes are kind of controversial too with people, right? But, just everything Bionic Commando I quite liked, and yeah, I had a lot of fun with this kind of 3D semi-open world experience. Next, we have a PSP game that's, again, quite mixed, where I would say it's more the critics that didn't like this game, but a lot of other people that did play it quite enjoy it, and it's Mimana ER Chronicle. Sorry, I always have to look because I'm not quite sure the title or if I'm even pronouncing it correctly, but really enjoyed this game, and a lot of people, especially critics, didn't, because the main character, Kreis, who's voiced by Johnny Young Bosch, like he's quite a ass, right? Like he's drunk, he gambles a lot, and he gets this job from this girl named Sophie, and he's really rude to her, right? So critics didn't really like that, along with the combat, right? And I will say combat is quite clunky, but once you get used to it, it's not bad. Just the AI in battles, like any AI companions you get in battle, they're pretty useless, I will say that. But I had quite fun with this. I thought, a lot of the dialogue made me laugh out loud, and it sort of built on me after a while. And the only thing that I thought was weird was some of the voice acting, and not that it's bad, just the audio was weird, because for Laura Bailey, who voices Sophie, like, her voice is oddly distorted in this game. It's really odd how some voices seem okay, and then other voices just seem like they were too close to the mic or something. Like, I don't know how to explain it, except for that, right? Like, maybe that's just me, I don't know, but either way, I quite enjoyed this game, and yeah, it's just, a nice little chill game I find on the PSP. Next, we have a pretty bad game, and I talked about this game before, but I don't know what it is about me that I like it, and not just this game, but the sequel too, and it's Naughty Bear. So I remember this game got quite a lot of attention at the time, because it was so weird and different, right? It was basically a Hitman game, but with stuffed teddy bears, where this bear, Naughty Bear, doesn't get invited to a party, so he decides to kill everyone. Like, it's really messed up. A lot of the killings you do is quite graphic, despite its kind of cartoony look, right? And it's broken as ever, because, if you get caught by anyone, just go in the grass and they forget about you entirely, which I actually don't mind, because it makes the game super easy. And if the game was super hard, where it was so difficult and impossible to hide from people and survive and all that, I probably wouldn't like this game nearly as much. But because of how broken the stealth mechanic is, don't mind. And then yeah, there's Panic in Paradise, where that one's a lot more like Hitman. You get to steal people's disguises, and you have to kill your targets in a certain way, right? But either way, yeah, I feel kind of bad for liking this game, because like I said, it's quite graphic for its sort of, design of these stuffed teddy bears, right? And yet I quite like it. I feel it feels wrong to like this game, but I do. I enjoy it. And the next game we have is actually probably the best game on this list, but again, I see quite a few people really hate on this game, so I thought I would include it, and I talked about it before. Grandia 3, I love this game. I thought it was really, really fun. I love the characters and story and everything, even though the story itself is very basic. Like, starts off with just this kid named Yuki who has a dream of flying. That's pretty much how it starts, and later on, like, him and his mother kind of get lost in the forest where they run into this girl named Alfina, right? And kind of try to figure out her backstory and things like that. Like, I think the only thing I didn't really like about this game was how they handled Miranda, because I thought she was great. You know, her and Yuki, I would have loved to see both of them kind of go through the adventure the whole way through, but Miranda's kind of gone pretty early within the game, right? And I think that's the only thing I didn't really like, but, you know, I really love this game. And now, I haven't played Grandia 1 or 2, I do plan on playing those ones, but maybe that's it, is because this is the only one that I played and beat that I don't have kind of a reference to go to for the other Grandia games, that maybe I enjoyed this way more than other people did, because people will say, like, the gameplay, the combat system's a lot of fun with this one, it's just everything else they didn't really enjoy, right? But for me, yeah, it's one of my favorite PlayStation 2 games, and yeah, I had a lot of fun with this one. And next, we have possibly the worst game that's on this list, and I recognize how terrible it is. It's on the N64 and PlayStation 1, and it's Mission Impossible. So I think this is one of these games that, because I played it so much as a kid, you know, on the N64, renting it a lot, like, you know, when I started to game collect, like, this was one of the first games I sought out was, yeah, Mission Impossible, both N64 and PS1 versions. N64, I just have, like, a loose copy that's in pretty bad condition, but really enjoyed this game, and I recognize how terrible of a game it is, right? It's so clunky, it's very confusing. At the start of levels, you have to pick which tool you use, which is really dumb considering the levels that you play. You need to use a certain tool to get through that level, right? So it just made it weird of like, okay, why would you give me an option for, you know, picking like a face mask when I didn't need the face mask, or picking other ones, right, when I needed the face mask, right? But I think because, yeah, I enjoyed the movie as a kid, you know, and just like Angry Video Game Nerd said, like, as bad of a game as it was ambitious, because they could easily copy GoldenEye. They could have just been like, this is going to be a first-person shooter and everything, but no, instead, it kind of went into this prototype for Hitman in a way, right? Because, you know, you're knocking people out, you're stealthing around levels, and yeah, you're changing disguises, right? It's interesting, but I recognize how terrible it is, but because of how much I played it, I kind of know the mechanics of this game, so yeah, I really enjoyed this game, but again, I recognize that it's one of the worst games out there. And then the final bad game that I have that I really enjoy because I love the anime and everything, Fullmetal Alchemist and the Broken Angel. So this game, like, again, Fullmetal Alchemist, I love the series. I still have to get through the rebooted Brotherhood. I started, which I really enjoy, really having great time with that one because, yeah, it fixes a lot of the issues of the original. But for people that don't know about Fullmetal Alchemist, it follows the Eldrick brothers who's trying to get the Philosopher's Stone because, you know, they try to bring back their mother, but alchemy for Fullmetal Alchemist, like, has certain rules, and they, you know, did forbidden alchemy, which means they paid a big price. So Al lost his whole body, and like, Edward lost his whole, like, left leg, and then he took out his left arm to make sure that Al at least had his soul in some sort of body, right? So they're trying to get the Philosopher's Stone to get their body back. But for this game, yeah, graphically, really outdated graphics. Combat is super clunky, but man, I just really have a lot of fun with this, even though it can be frustrating. But because of my love for, sorry again, for Full Metal Alchemist, I just really enjoyed this game, and yeah, the second game's definitely way better than this one, right? Like, it improves on so many aspects, but I still quite enjoy playing this one. And so, those are all the 10 bad video games that I do love. Like I said, I don't think all of them are necessarily bad, especially like Grandia 3, Sword Art Online Fatal Bullet, or Alpha Protocol, but yeah, there's definitely some that I would say for sure are bad, but I still love them. And like I said, let me know in the comments down below your kind of, bad games or ones that you see a lot of people say are bad that you love yourself. Like, would love to hear all your thoughts in the comments down below. I hope you enjoyed. Always appreciate everyone watching. Like, I'm super grateful for that always, and I'll see you next time. Thanks everyone. Have a great rest of your day. Hey everyone, thanks for watching, really appreciate it. If you enjoyed what you saw, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe to see more. Also follow me on X, Twitch, Bluesky, and I am back on Facebook now. All links will be on my About page, so follow me there. Even if it's just for the skits I do, I need someone to follow me. Okay, probably not the best way to encourage people, but anyways, I'll see you next time. Have a great day, everyone!